G'day pros, Alec, Peirce, Scuba Tech Tips. Now, just a quick reminder, I was in the business for almost 50 years, in the scuba industry almost 50 years, and very, very successful. Every dive store that I worked at, way back, and then I owned from 78 on, I had a dive store. Over those years, over that 50 years almost, we tried a lot of things, yeah. They weren't quite so successful. A lot of those things didn't work. I would try something and, hey, there's a good idea, because I'm an ideas guy. And it didn't work with them. A lot of them did work. A lot of them did work. So we'd refine them and use them more often. Not enough that people got tired of them, but enough that we got them working really, really well. Sometimes it became an institution. Let me give you some examples. I have several here in front of me of things that we used to do, and the reason I'm doing this, let's make sure you understand why I'm doing this. These are ideas to help you get and to keep customers. How you keep in touch with the customers, make sure they keep coming back. In one of our previous videos, I'll get Ked to put a thing on, I showed you this little thing, a reminder, came from my local service station to remind me it's time for my anti-corrosion, my rust proofing on my F-150 to be upgraded. I have to do it every 18 months or so. Well, I'm not going to remember. I want to keep it upgraded, because if you don't do it every couple of years or so, then you lose the guarantee. They send out a reminder. Yeah, smart. That's just plain smart. That's a service station. I mean, they get another $200 out of me. I would have forgotten. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. How do you keep your customers happy? How do you keep them coming in? How do you get new ones? Lots of different ways of doing that. The most common way that most dive stores have caught on to over the years is by some kind of a regular newsletter. Now, newsletters have changed a great deal. Diana and I, when we had Scuba 2000 and the wet shop before that, we had a newsletter. It was an actual newsletter. It looked like this. Here's a couple of examples. It actually had color pictures on it. Look, there's the front. There's a color picture that one of our divers took. Beautiful. And on the back, some more color pictures. There's our dive team, our instructors, and some more pictures. So this was not a sheet of paper that would come to the dive store on it. This was a real little booklet, really something pretty fancy. And then on the inside, very, very important in my mind anyway. Into this issue, there's about 30 pages in here. I'm going to guess 20 pages. And, you know, people will read 3, 4, 5, then they'll flip it. They won't see a lot of things. So you have to try to get their attention right away. So very important. Whether it's a newsletter like this, which you mailed out, which we did. We mailed out over 2,000 of these every month. Yeah. A lot of time, because they were printed, individually, made up, printed, and then mailed in envelopes too. Because here, our post office wouldn't allow us to just tape them and send them. We had to put them in an envelope. A lot of work. Thank goodness now it's all done by computer. You probably have an online newsletter. But let me give you a couple of tips. First of all, I think it's very important. Printed or online, as it will be today, it'll be online. I think it's really important at the very top, you make a list. What's in this issue? So you should put in your newsletter, online, whatever, you should put a list of what's there to read. Why should I bother reading this? Well, I bother reading this because look at all the neat stuff. And you actually make a list of it, put it down there. Equipment, rentals, special dive event, special speaker coming in, 2-for-1 sale, whatever it happens to be. Make a list. So they look down, oh, yeah, that's kind of neat, and they flip to that page and read it. Much more likely to read it and keep it if you have an index. I guess that's called an index. Table of contents, so do that. And then we just have whatever, 20 pages. We had a sale in there. We always had a sale. Lots of other ideas, events, and so on, trips. So we made it really, really exciting. We had lots of them every month, 12 a year. They got them, and they got used to them. We'd be late mailing them out, and we get phone. I haven't got my newsletter yet. Now you know that you're making an impact. When the divers start calling you and saying, where's my monthly newsletter? You didn't send it out to me. I don't want to miss it. Now you know you're making an impact. So that's one thing you can do. Now here's an example of a newsletter that's online, as most of them are today. We still get, different companies, not in scuba maybe, different companies still send out, sometimes weekly, certainly monthly. Local hardware stores, lumber yards, and places like that will still send out newsletters, little catalogs, if you like, to us. But that's not so common anymore. For a small dive store without a big a big budget for advertising, like those places, then usually you're sending out a newsletter by email, an online newsletter. Now you should also have one of these on your website. Yeah, each month, have a different month. So it's your June's newsletter should be on the website. And in fact, my opinion, you should have a library of them. So in there somewhere you can say, check previous newsletters, and you have a list of the different months, and they can go to April, and they can go to February and read, because there's neat stuff in there that they want to know. So put that on there as well. And there you go. It doesn't have to be very big, but once again, personally, first page, what's in this newsletter? And then all the usual stuff, special events, dives, sales, and so on. It should all be included. A couple other things you can do as well to keep those divers coming in. First of all, some special events. We were fairly big. Scuba 2000 was a big dive store. And so we would go to the different suppliers, manufacturers, vendors, whatever you want to call them, and say, listen, we're going to have a special dive in 3 weeks, and we're going to have a bunch of divers out, and we're going to have 100 divers coming out, and they're going to be doing whatever, and we would like to have a draw, or maybe we're going to have some kind of a contest, and at the end of the dive, and we would like to give them prizes. So we need some prizes. And most of the vendors, certainly if you were a good dealer for them, would be happy to give you prizes. Sometimes they gave you very expensive things. We often had computers, wetsuits, dry suits, tanks, and so on. Sometimes the things that they gave you were not so expensive. Could be a mask, could be a snorkel, could be a logbook, so on. Didn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be all the way from a logbook to a 2-week all-expensive trip to Grand Cayman. We actually had a couple of trips given away. Another popular item was the scuba courses. We would give away scuba courses. So special events. Make a big deal about them. Absolutely. You're going to win a prize. Come on out. It's one thing, by the way, I should mention, if you do have special events and you have prizes from the vendors or manufacturers, you store owners, try if you can to get a lot of prizes so that everybody gets a prize. There should be nobody that goes away without a prize. If they came out and got in the water, they got a prize. Yeah, could be something very, very simple. A bottle of sea drops for clearing their mask, all the way up to a tank or a regulator or a computer. So make sure you have enough prizes that everybody gets something. Other special events, we organized dives, special dives. We did dives several years ago on a shipwreck here in Ontario called the SS Wyoming Commemorative Dive Book. And here it is. Beautiful little book, all the history of the wreck of the Wyoming, pictures, what they're going to see on the dive, everything about it in this special little book that was printed, gold leaf printing on it. These are all numbered. This is number 1. Yeah, this is mine. Number 1. And then we had a special page for their logbook, if they had a logbook like this. And the people bought tickets to the event, so they got a ticket. This is number 1 ticket. And they actually bought a ticket to the event. Then off we went up to Wyoming on the assigned day. Everybody's name was listed. We actually had a couple of newspapers that come out to take pictures of us diving on that old historic wreck. They took pictures. And the diver's picture was in the newspaper. There's no better way to get a diver enthusiastic about coming to your store than put his name and picture into a newspaper. I mean, it works really, really well. So special dives, maybe not that, but special dives like that are great. Make sure you advertise them well. Tell them to bring their friends out as well. Make that special. And then, as well, keep the divers coming in, interested. Have special little products. This is a calendar for many, many years, over 10 years. Each year, in December, we produced a catalog, a calendar. And it is a calendar, a useful calendar. One of those calendars with the spaces for the right on. And each page had a picture on it, taken of our real divers. There's a couple of us, that's me in there. A couple of our divers cleaning fish after a spearfishing trip. There's a couple of us spearfishing down south. There's some divers doing various things. Here we are up north diving in the pool, in the classroom. There we are doing the diving or floating on the Itchituckney River. You guys down in Florida, you know all about that tubing. Yeah. So get some great pictures with lots of pictures, not just one nice picture. Lots of pictures. All the divers that you know regularly, get the picture. Because next to newspapers, the next thing divers like the most is seeing their picture and their name on something. They hang it up on the wall. I know several divers that have every one. I don't have them all. I know several divers that have every one of these. They collected them. because in many cases their picture was in quite a few of them, and they won the collectibles and stuff like that. And that'll keep the divers coming in as well. So again, another tip, just some ideas. You know, I don't know everything, but we ran a very successful business, and I know it's a lot of work out there to make a dive store big and successful for many years. So these are just some ideas for you. Some ideas to keep those divers interested, keep them coming in. It might be something in there for you. Good luck. Talk to you again soon. Alec Peirce, LDS Pro Tips. Take care.